I've been involved in the gun culture of some sort really for at least a decade. Really deeply involved, going to gun shows, going to SHOT Show, going to the NRA convention, meeting with different people, interviewing manufacturers, analyzing the gun industry, analyzing the ammo industry. It's been a long time. And what I've really seen over the last 5 years is really an evolution of the gun owner themselves. I would argue that the gun owner has evolved and advanced more than the gun itself, or ammo for that matter. And really what I'm getting at is, back when I first got into it, there was kind of a typical gun owner. You can kind of guess party affiliation, you can kind of guess religious beliefs, you can to some degree guess a level of nationality and race and that sort of thing, gender, and that has all changed. It has absolutely changed. Minority groups, all of them are gun owners now. Women, gun owners. And the one that I think was the last one, because I argue there is no people group in this country anymore that is not a pretty regular gun owners. And that last group is really the Democratic Party. Those people who have for decades been anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment, have kind of what I believe the reason for, and we'll talk about numbers here in a second because I want to give exact numbers. What I believe caused this was really the shift in idealism that I'd prefer there not be guns, but there's just so many of them and people are crazy that I kind of think I need one. Literally, like there was a point in America, like I can say there was a point in America in the 90s where I would have said, well, everybody should own a gun, but I would say a shotgun would be fine. Even if you had a hunting rifle in your house, that would have been fine. But I definitely wouldn't have said, well, everybody needs to be out in the world carrying a gun. Now, I've been saying that for a good solid decade, and it's only getting more obvious to the rest of the masses that you kind of just need to have a gun on you when you're out in America in this, out on the streets or even in the country or the woods for that matter. You're just better off having a sidearm. And I believe that Democrats have kind of seen that piece where they're like, you know what, I'd prefer there not be guns, but there are, so I need one. And let's talk about the numbers real quick, because roughly 47% of registered Republicans would say they own guns. A little less than 50%, 47%. 60% of them in recent surveys say that they do see it in the future if they don't already own one. So, there's you got 47% saying I'm already there, and then you got up to 60% saying I'm either there or I'm going to be there in the near future. Now, in 2020, it was 19% of Democrats own guns. This 47% of Republican has really kind of stayed the same. Because once you're a gun owner, you're a gun owner. You know, like you might have 100 guns, but that still makes you one gun owner. 19% of Democrats in 2020 said they own guns. In 2024, 28%. Think about that. Almost a 10% increase in gun owners, with 40% saying that they see it in the future. So you got 28% saying we're already there, and then you got an additional 12% saying we're thinking this is a good idea, and I definitely see this in my future. Now, let's talk about exact numbers. So according to the 2024 voter registration data, there's 48 million registered Democrats out there, 36 million registered Republicans, 35 million independents, and 2 to 3 million just a bunch of other stuff, Green parties, just all that other stuff. Now, let's kind of crunch the numbers. What that means is out of 48 million registered Democrats, 28% of them own guns. That's 13.4 million gun-owning Democrats in this country, up from 9 million in 2020. So think about it. You know, when we had that rush on guns and you had all those new gun owners, 1 million or 2 a year, a good chunk of them were Democrats between 2020 and 2024. Now let's compare that to the 47% of Republicans. That's 16 million gun owners that are Republicans. And I bring this data up because a lot of times I think that GOP people are like, well, we're the ones with the guns. I think you were about 4 years ago, but right now what you're looking at is you're looking at 13.5 million gun owners compared to 16 million gun owners. That's not a gigantic difference as much as one might have thought. And that's why I think this video is so incredibly important, because it's all kind of going under the radar. Like, you're not hearing about it. Like, nobody's out there saying, you know, we're proud gun owner Democrats. Like, it's not there. Not to say they're not. Now, let me put it this way. They've always been there. My stepdad was a diehard Democrat, and he was always a gun owner. Everybody that I know in my life, loved ones and family members that are Democrats, they all own guns. None of them are gunless. They all own guns. Well, okay, I take that. A couple of them don't own guns. There's still a couple that are like, no guns. One of my brothers won't even let me come in the house with a gun. It's like, he's like, leave your guns in the car kind of thing. I still bring them in because they're hidden. They're tiny. He doesn't know. I'm like, I don't have any guns on me, don't worry. But he doesn't watch my videos, so I'm sure he won't see this. But there's a ton of Democrats that are owning guns. Really, you're short by about 2.5 million compared to Republicans. And I'm sure there's a ton of independents. I did not research how many independents own guns on this. It was just Democrats versus Republicans registered. And really what you're looking at at the end of 2024 is 13.4 million registered Democrats carrying guns compared to 16 million registered Republicans carrying guns. So there you go, man, secretly buying the guns. These are Democrats. I am one happy, like I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm definitely I'm not with either one of your party. But I'm glad to see it. I think Americans should be responsible gun owners. And I don't think there's any people group in this country that should not be gun owners, regardless of race, gender, religion, political affiliation. Guns are a tool to keep you safe. And we've seen there's a lot of crazy people out there doing a lot of crazy things. And the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. I don't care what race, gender, political affiliation you are. You good guy with a gun and you stop a bad guy with a gun, you're a hero in my eyes. So there you go, man. Any thoughts or insight on any of this? Definitely put it below. Do want to take a moment and say most people watch the channel, hey, they're not subscribers. Click that subscribe button. Greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests. So please don't ever, ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, love guns.